Welcome everyone to Coffee with a Codex. My name is Dot Porter, and I am a curator in the Kislak Center for Special Collections, Rare Books, and Manuscripts in the University of Pennsylvania Libraries. I split my time between the Kislak Center and the Schoenberg Institute for Manuscript Studies. That is a research and development institute focusing on manuscript studies, sort of broadly defined. We have a physical collection. We digitize our collections and do things with them. It's a really great place to be. Sometimes they let me out and I get to go different places. And this week I have been at the University of Leeds at the International Medieval Congress. I've been actually talking about work that we've been doing at Sims, and I've been meeting people and talking to people. It's been really great. And so this afternoon, my last act at the International Medieval Congress is to sit down in the Brotherton Research Center at the University of Leeds with the curator, Rhiannon, and I will give her the floor in just a second. And we're going to talk about this manuscript. This is Brotherton Collection MS2. It is a book of hours with some other stuff in it. It's very cool. And so I will sort of pick it up and show it, but I'd like you, Rhiannon, to say a little bit about how you got this book.
Of course, Dot. Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. I think this is the first time MS2 has gone live globally, so it's very exciting. This gorgeous manuscript was part of a clutch of medieval manuscripts bought by Lord Brotherton of Wakefield, who is the University Library's major benefactor. He was born in the north of England in Manchester in 1856, but he didn't start collecting books and manuscripts until 1922, when he failed to buy at auction the Wakefield Mystery Plays at Sotheby's in London, and instead went to a rare bookshop and bought a printed book, piqued his interest, and that's where his collection started. So that was 1922. He was already in his late 60s, but within a few years it was clear he wanted to establish a really broad library, and he had to have medieval manuscripts, he had to have incunabula, he had to have early modern books, and he collected all the way up to his present day. So sometime in the 1920s, Charles Sawyer, the book dealer and seller based in London, sent Lord Brotherton a catalogue of medieval manuscripts that he had for sale, thinking Lord Brotherton might like to buy one or two. Brotherton bought the whole lot. He brought the entire catalogue, and they are all now in the Brotherton collection.
How many manuscripts was that?
I think it's 12.
Wow.
All at once. So quite a scoop. So in one fell swoop, he got his medieval manuscripts for his collection, and this is one of them.
That's great. So I love that story, and he only collected totally for 8 years, right at the end of his life.
I've done the calculations. He was collecting for 8 years. He collected books, manuscripts, ephemera, pamphlets. Mm-hmm. He was collecting at a rate of 36 items a day for 8 years.
Yes. So we have a question. Is the heraldic plate from the collector?
That's right.
Yes.
That's Edward Allen Brotherton. He has 2 book plates. This one tells us probably that he bought this before 1929, because then he's elevated to Baron Brotherton, and he has a plate. So we can speculate that these books are bought before 1929.
Yeah, and I spent a lot of time showing off the covers, because the covers are very nice. I do need to mention that the covers are newer. It was rebound in 1954. So we have this note at the back, sort of explaining how that was done. So it's a very beautiful oak board cover, done in a sort of original style, but it is pretty recent, relatively recent. So that's that. Let's take a look at the inside, which we've looked at a little bit. So I mentioned it's a book of hours with other things in it. And like other book of hours, it starts with a calendar, which is basically, I've heard it called the map of the church year. Every month gets a page. In this case, sometimes it's 2 pages. And it basically lists out by day the holidays and the saints that you celebrate on any given day. And so this has been identified as use of Paris. It was made to be used by someone in Paris. And one of the ways that you can tell that is by seeing the saints that are mentioned in the calendar that are particular to Paris. So that is sort of interesting. And then we have some hymns that come after that. Then one of these things that is interesting about this particular book, usually books of hours, you expect to see the Hours of the Virgin. That's where they get their names, the Hours of the Virgin, so the Book of Hours. I've been assuming that you will all know what that is. I can't make that assumption. A Book of Hours was usually a secular, that is used by lay people, prayer book with particular prayers that you expected to see in all of them. And the Hours of the Virgin is sort of a take on the canonical hours. So matins and compline and these days that you would expect to practice if you were a monk or a nun. And in this case, it's sort of modified for secular use, for use by lay people. And then there are other ones. There's the Hours of the Dead, which we'll also see in this one. And then you usually expect to see some psalms and some other prayers. This has a whole psalter. So right after the calendar, we have a few hymns, and then we have this. And I'm going to turn the pages more quickly in a minute because there are a lot of these gorgeous full page illuminations, and I want to make sure we get to all of them if we can. So here's David. He is getting ready to pray, or he is praying. He's got his harp there, and he's got some books. I love these books here. I wish our colleague Nick Herman looks at books in art. He's got a project on that, and I wish he could see these. He's probably seen this before. In this little open book. There is so much gold. I don't know if you can hopefully see some of that as I move it around. And the colors are just amazing. Rhiannon and I were looking at this earlier, and the color, the green of many floors here is just gorgeous. This is a really beautiful manuscript. So I will start turning the pages a little bit more so we can see some more. So we're in the Psalms here. The numbers at the top are the Psalm numbers here. And one of the other things that I love about this is these initials that go back and forth between blue with the red and then gold with sort of a darker blue. I just think it's just really beautifully done. So I'll go through this, and we can see as I don't want to miss one. Here we go. So there's a few of these pages where we have sort of a larger initial. Here we have again King David. He's having a little chat with God up there in the sky, and these beautiful things. Oh, there's the strawberries. So we were looking at these earlier. If you see, there's these strawberries that are not quite ripe yet. So they're in the process of ripening, which we were saying it implies that an artist who has watched strawberries ripen, which is just, I love thinking about that. The humanity of the person who made the art in there. Do we know is it one artist who did all of it?
It looks like it.
Looks like it. Okay. Yeah. So there we go. And don't hesitate, if you have questions, don't hesitate to pop them in the chat, and we'll answer them as we can. And maybe Amy, if there's a question that Amy can answer. Here's another one of these again.
You see the gold there, Dot, on your screen. It's really cool.
that's it's really nice. Here again, we have David. You know it's David because he's wearing a crown and he's got his thing, and his harp, and he's talking to God there. Oh, close up on details. Okay, let's get you a little bit closer here. Here we go. How's that? There we go. A little bit of that. There's another one. Oh, my poor phone. Let's see. Are the initials handled all in the same way? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. These are all, it does look like these have been initial Ds, and I think that's just, I don't know if that matters. Barbara is asking, did you mention the size of the page? I don't know I don't know what. Yes, Joyce wants me to focus in on some of the decorated initials as well as those that are illuminated. Yes, I will do that as soon as let's find some other, because I do want to make sure that we get to. Here's another one. This is David's, what's his name? David's,
With the messenger.
His messenger. Yeah. This is David's messenger. So let's see. Let's do decorated initials. So I'll do a zoom in here on some of these initials here, so you can see them a little bit closer. There. Let's see. Barbara is asking me how many inches the page is. I don't know.
Measure for you.
Oh, we'll get a tape measure, but this is it compared to my hand. It's a pretty small book. It's quite thick, but it is fairly small. There. What is the Latin word with the D? I'm not sure. That's Dixit, I think. Dixit is that word with the D. There. How many? Let's see. Is that inches? No.
Centimeters.
Centimeters. So that's about 18.
And 10 for the text.
And 10 for the text. So 18 centimeters and then 10 centimeters for the text. So that's a lot of margin. Mm-hmm. That's quite a lot of margin. Let's see. We're still in the Psalter. Here's another. This is one I like quite a lot. This is David. You know it's David because he's got his crown on, and he's again talking to God, and he's in the bath there. And there's more of these strawberries that are ripening there at the bottom. So there it is. And the word I believe is oh, there's minims. There's a bunch of minims. Salvum. Thank you, Amy. Sometimes when there's a lot of minims in a row, it's sort of hard to tell what the word is when you're looking at this sort of Gothic script. All right. So that is, let's see. Let's not skip. And there he is. Oh, we didn't see that one before. There he is in his little house. All right. Now, eventually we're going to get out of the Psalter. And 102, let's see. Because there's a lot more to this than the Psalter. Let's see. Here we go. So this is the Annunciation. So this is going to be the Hours of the Virgin. And this is the sort of the central. Oh, was it blurry? I'm sorry. Was it blurry when I was turning the pages? Is it blurry now? Let's see. I don't know why. It doesn't look blurry on my screen. Is it blurry for everyone?
Yes, it is a little bit blurry.
Okay. All right. Let me see what I can do. Let's see. My phone has been making noises, and why do you keep doing that? Oh, yeah. It might be my connection with my computer. So I apologize if it's blurry. It should not be recording blurry, so we can watch the recording later. I think hopefully that will be fine. So here we have the Hours of the Virgin. This is sort of the central text of the Book of Hours. And I marked this just because I love these lists. It's lists of saints. And so we have the S's going down like that. So yes, SSSS, the blue and the red. Yes, Barb, I'll zoom in so you can see that. Oh, there we go. You can see that a little bit better. Yeah, somebody spent a lot of time. And then you can see the ones that have the shorter names, they also filled in the line there to make sure that it's all filled in there. All right. So, oh, and while we are sort of stopped here, I don't know if you've been noticing, but when the manuscript was rebound, the binder put these tabs in sort of around each of the choirs. So for me, I'm interested in structure. It's very nice. Now I can see where all the choirs end and began. Plus somebody put in nice little catchwords too. So that's pretty helpful. Let's see. So here we have, I think somebody was interested in looking at decorated initials. So here is a little initial there that is a little bit illuminated, but not quite as much as some of the other ones there. Let's see, we have a question. I thought someone trimmed the pages. I'm not sure if someone trimmed it or not, because it hasn't, if it's been trimmed, it hasn't been, none of the text has been cut. It's possible that it was trimmed across the top since the margins are so much bigger on the bottom, but I don't know. You don't think so? Rhiannon's shaking her head.
I'm not sure. I'm wondering, I mean, there are several rebinds, I think. I mean, you can see it's got gilt edges now.
Oh, it has, yeah.
Whether the most recent, I mean,
he wouldn't have gilded it in 54. No, I don't think so. So there was another question. Is this the first page with vertical and top marginal decorations? I think there were a couple of other ones earlier. I think the pages where King David was, where we had the little King David initials, I think they had them here. And here's more. It's getting quite decorative in here. Now here, I believe this is, let's see, where are we now? 180. No, I think this is 120. The Office of the Dead. I should have guessed. The Office of the Dead. I love this because we've got this sort of demon out here being stabbed by an angel, whilst some poor guy gets buried there, which is sort of nice. Yvonne, the filigree work is prolific and elongated ones are wonderful. It's it's just really beautifully done here. And also, I haven't really talked about the text, but there are, if you look as we page through, there are parts where the text is written in slightly different scripts. And we were sort of talking about what that might be. I think some of it is what I would call and response. But I'm pretty sure that's what is happening here. But you don't always see that sort of slightly different text. Something like that. Let's see. Oh, there's more. Oh, they're so pretty. It's just really pretty. Let's see. Here is the Nativity with this impressive donkey right there. So that's nice. Let's zoom in a little bit on that to see. And there's more of that green. It's that little pillow also has the same green as the floors. Yeah.
Yes. Seems to be a key feature of this artist's
Mm-hmm.
illumination, doesn't it?
Likes the green. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So here is, this is the Kings coming, and this one has been, I don't know. It's been a little bit maybe messed up and then retouched. I can see that this is a little bit blurry, I think, because it's not quite flat. But it looks like someone came in, maybe it got rubbed by somebody doing devotions and then was retouched. I can actually see it much better now than I did before. And that looks maybe like what happened. Like it's possible that there was some kissing involved that rubbed away some of the paint, and then somebody else came through and touched it up a little bit. But there's certainly something happening there. This is the only illumination in the book that's been messed up like that, I think. Otherwise, they're really gorgeous. Let's see. Oh, this is nice. Even the sort of the relatively simple pages are really beautiful. And here's a really nice example of this slightly different script here and there. Oh, they're good. Here you can see, and we're going to see more of this, these dots here on this page it's from these being closed together. So the ink on this page is sort of affected the parchment here. And there's more, and we think it maybe is because it was silver.
Some kind of silver paint by the look of it.
Yeah. Because silver tarnishes and will turn black. So sometimes you'll see silver leaf the same way that gold leaf is done. Gold leaf doesn't go bad, so gold leaf still looks beautiful. Silver leaf will just be black and not very beautiful.
Oh, here's the one with the fence dot.
Oh, the fence! We were looking at this. This is another. This, like the strawberries, to me is like, this is something that the artist saw it seems like something that they saw in their real life, and that they're sort of copying it in their art. And I love it. I love the sky, the sort of the way it's dark at the top and then it gets lighter. And I love that building at the back. I'm going to zoom in. I think that's so nice. I just think that's really nice. And the sleeping guys there. I love this. I'm a little bit jealous. I have a little FOMO. Is that what they call it? A little FOMO, because I love Oxgall ink. I don't know. I don't know what the ink is. I've been trying to get our conservator and our manuscripts curator back to do more ink talk. To do that. So here's
our green floor again.
The green floor. And I think that this one, I'm looking at this guy's boots. I'm going to check, because if I'm right, yes. Here's his boots and his arm. And if I flip the page back, you'll see this is him, and he's wearing armor. And I think that it's because there's a little silver, or there's some kind of metal. There's some kind of something in there that is reacting with the parchment, and it's not quite enough to like eat through it. Like sometimes green, I'm thinking verdigris in green will actually eat through parchment, and it gets very messy.
We certainly see that in some of our fragments from the Ripon Cathedral collection.
Yeah. And there he is getting taken down. Oh, that's a nice one. And he's back to life. I don't know if you all know the story of Jesus. He raised from the dead. So there he is. I
think the next one's my favorite.
Is the next one?
With the ascension into heaven.
Oh, yes. I put a thing. Here he is. I did put a marker in it.
Here he is.
And here's the ascension. So there is Jesus going back up to heaven. And so all we see are his feet and the shadows of his feet there. And Rhiannon pointed out, this fellow here is looking up. His back is to us, and he's looking up. And I've seen a lot of people drawn like this, sort of sideways. I this seems really unusual to me, the sort of back
Certainly the first
facing.
time I've ever seen it from that perspective.
So it's like,
It's really effective, isn't it?
yeah. And this is 1460, 1480, I think, sort of mid 15th century. So this is pretty early in this sort of exploration of perspective. But that's just a really nice one here. Oh, and here's more books. More books. You can't really see what they're reading. Oh, and this guy with the gold. He's got this gold robe. So his it's not gold leaf, it's gold paint, but it's really, I don't know, it looks really neat. I just love the way this artist, it's really good. And I'm not normally yelling about art. Usually I'm all about messy, messy things. Let's see, what did I put this here? Oh, here we go. This is nice. With another background, the sort of pastoral backgrounds there. And I've totally lost track of where in the manuscript we are. So this is folio 210. So we are, now we're in the breviary, and this is the other thing that this manuscript has that's unusual for a book of hours, is it actually has a complete breviary, which is sort of the complete set of canonical hours for a monk or a nun. So it's got sort of both in it, which is interesting. I think that's pretty interesting. It's not totally unheard of, but it is interesting. And there's the Annunciation of the Virgin. She gets more than her feet. She gets angels to sort of help her out. Breviaries for clerical use. Yes. Yeah. Breviaries for clerical use. So it's sort of interesting to have it in with the Book of Hours. So as part of the same book. Let's see. So who is, and here's that's the nativity of Anne, I think, and Mary. So that's nice. And again, we've got that green floor, and I think we've got,
oh yes,
yeah, more of this,
the silver,
whatever the silver sort of poking through there. And yes, we can't end, so we have one more minute. So this is, who was it again? Saint Martin of Tours. Oh, right. And he took his cape, right, and he's giving it.
He gives it to the beggar.
Right. And so this is the image of the conference that I'm at. Yes, an ermine cape. So this is the image of the conference that I'm at. And so they put this image on the booklet, and I just want you to take a look at how it gets reproduced. The color is just, I love when I saw this, because I love the pink, the hot pink.
Hot pink stockings.
I really like the hot pink, but that's not actually what it looks like. But you can sort of see how they get from one to the next. So I wanted to be sure to show that to you. And that's why we picked this manuscript, actually. When I said I wanted to do this, Rhiannon suggested this manuscript because of the importance of this image to the conference. So that's very fun. And then I have one more. Oh, St. Catherine and her wheel. So I thought that was fun. So it is now 5:30 where we are. And so I'll just zoom in a little bit so we can get a better look at that. And then I will say goodbye and thank you all for coming. And I hope that you can come again later on. And thanks for joining me to have a look at this lovely little Book of Hours.